competition quite like this, where there's so many guys involved in this stage of the offseason?
Yeah, I think you just keep every competition the same. Like, you're really just trying to improve daily. Learn a new system, playing with new teammates. It's just a daily process of trying to improve, and all that stuff will just work itself out.
How do you feel like you kind of performed today? Obviously, early on OTAs, but how do you feel like you performed today?
Yeah, I felt like it was a good day. I felt like yesterday was a good day. I think we followed up with another good day, just working operationally and buying into what the coaches want us to do and how we're supposed to break the huddle and operate and play fast. So I think it was a good first 2 days of that. Obviously, to watch the tape.
Kenny, what's it been?
Obviously, kind of unique in the way that
Yeah, I think there's more similarities to Philly's system than people may realize, just because we're a little bit more under center than the gun. Philly was more in the gun, but a lot of the concepts are the same, and the teaching is the same. Just learning the new terminology has really been a big thing for me.
What did your time in Philadelphia? Kevin has mentioned multiple times. You spending last year with the Eagles, them winning the Super Bowl, you getting a first-hand look of what it takes to get to that level. Just what do you take from that experience in Philadelphia, and how do you think that is going to help move your career forward?
Yeah, I'm extremely grateful for my time in Philly. I think I just, was shown how it's supposed to be done, really, from the top down. So when you get a chance to see what it's supposed to look like and how it should look on a day-to-day basis, not just on Sundays, I think it'll pay dividends for me, in the future.
Kenny, I know you told us about Jerry, working with him in the offseason and training together. It looked like today he's catching everything out there. Just what's it been like to reconnect with him here, and what's that early connection like?
Yeah,
working together?
he's a really easy guy to throw to. I think it's a good play whenever you're throwing the ball to number 3. So we should keep doing a lot more of that. But no, Jerry's an awesome guy. He works really hard. His communication with the quarterbacks is awesome. Just if he sees something or if I see something, the ability just to have that open dialogue and kind of being on the same page has been great these first 2 days. I think it shown.
Kenny, with this trend of guys like Darnold and Geno kind of in late career resurgences, do you think we've judged young quarterbacks too quickly in this league?
I think it's just the nature of where the NFL is now. And just it takes a lot to play really, good quarterback play, and everyone's trying to, find that guy. And now I'm in this stage of my career where I'm trying to find that place and, figure it out. I got a chance to work with Geno this offseason, and he's, an awesome guy. And, I think that was also, a great experience for me working with a guy like him. It's very similar to Joe. Just later in the career has played a lot of football. And you can just pick up small things as you work with those guys.
Kenny, we didn't talk to you. We talked to you before the draft. So my question is, and you were very determined at that point that you were coming in here to win this starting job, to try to get started. So my question is, now that they've brought in 2 rookie quarterbacks with this 4-way intense competition, are you more determined than ever to win this starting job?
Yeah, I don't think anything really changed for me. Our job is to play football. Everyone has a job and ability to do. So I'm just focused on, my job and coming out here and competing and being as prepared as I can be, for these guys out here.
And how intense is the competition? How do you feel like it is?
I think it's, the outside world makes it up a lot bigger than it is. When you're day to day and you're in meetings with these guys, you're out of practice, we spend so much time together. Of course, we're all competing. But you become friends with everybody. We're helping each other. There's an open dialogue in the quarterback room to, help each other grow. So I think it's a great media headline, but when you get in the building in a quarterback room, at least all the ones that I've been in, you really become friends with these guys, and we're just pushing each other.
When you extra reps last year, you go to Philadelphia knowing that your job is going to be to back up Jalen Hurts. So how do you approach it differently when you know that job could be yours to grab?
I think something that, I forget who told me this early in my days in college, I just always approached every day as if I'm the starter, no matter where I was on the depth chart. So even when I was in Philly, I would prepare as if I was a starter, because you never know when that opportunity was going to be to go play, and you want to be as prepared as you can be. So I'm kind of having the same mindset that I've always had since college, of coming in, preparing like I'm the guy. So whatever happens, it's just another day, because I always had that same mindset.
With the extra reps out there, sometimes it looks like a 3-inning circus. I was watching practice. The first 2 days, how do you think it's worked?
I think it's gone well. It's gone well. I mean, they're doing a great job of getting everyone reps. To see get experience with the offense and get a feel for everybody. Reps are just so key for the quarterback position with continuity with players. So You always want to get as many as you can get, and if you're not in, stealing some mental reps, going in and watching tape and seeing every play, just to stay, as ahead as you can be.
What sort of lessons can you take from Gino's journey through the league?
Yeah, I think it's just taking advantage of an opportunity, when it's there. He bounced around a lot, got an opportunity, and took off. So, great guy. Loved working with Gino. So really, just trying to take advantage of everything I can.
You
What do you
can
learn from Joe? I mean, he's been around obviously for 17 seasons. So, what kinds of takeaways are you getting from Joe Flacco out here?
I think it's more, film room in between reps, talking about what he saw or what I saw. He's just it's like, he's not a coach. I don't want anyone to say that. But it's like having another coach when a guy that's played that much football, you could bounce ideas off of, ask him what he saw, how he would read certain things earlier in his career. There's just so many things, small things that you can learn, just having that normal, open dialogue that you have.
Do you do VR?
I don't. I've I haven't tried it yet. I may go try it.
Interested to try it?
Yeah, I'll definitely interested to try it. I'm just a big tape guy. I've just always done it for a long time now, so I'm very comfortable there. But yeah, open to try it.
Kenny, obviously the Browns wanted you because they traded for you, but then since then, Kevin and AB, everybody's been really complimentary of you. I think you have a lot of untapped potential. So how does that make you feel heading into this competition, and just the fact that they think your best days are still yet to come?
No, that's awesome. That's why I'm just taking a day at a time and working really hard. I just want to be as prepared as I can be when the opportunity comes, and every chance I get out here, to put on good tape, play well, and we'll see where the chips fall.
What do you learn? This time of year when you're going through the OTAs, the contact's limited, right? The defense is showing, but they're not being ultra aggressive. So, what do you learn during this portion of the offseason?
Those team periods are pretty aggressive. I think we were getting after it pretty good. But I think right now it's just learning a new system. You need live reps. At the end of the day, playing the quarterback position, you need live reps to feel comfortable in the system. I think the coaches are doing a great job of getting everybody those opportunities. Being as prepared as you can be, almost treating every practice like a game-based script. You go home, you study it, you're prepared. You come in, you go out here and you work at it, and then you watch the tape. So I think that's kind of the process that I'm taking.
Really kind of picking your guys' brains and trying to learn from you. And if so, is it almost helping you learn too to have be able to share with them?
Yeah, that's kind of the open dialogue thing I was talking about earlier with Joe and all the quarterbacks. Just being in the film room, being able to talk through things. Same with Shadur and Dylan on the side. If they ever have a question to ask me and talk through it, it helps me just as much as it helps them. So, yeah, it's a great working environment.
Can it surprise you that
I think the longer you play in the NFL, you just take everything in stride. And, like I said, I have a job to do. I think everyone's focused on doing their job. So it's been going really well so far.
I know you said you could go ahead and accomplish that you were the starter. Did it add any more extra motivation for you in your approach?
No, when you get locked in that mindset, nothing really makes it different. I don't think. You kind of just stick in that mode and continue to show up and work every day.
Kenny, with Joe.
Shadur sort of aura, he's all over social media. There's a huge fan base for him. He's a celebrity. I mean, you sort of felt that, and if so, what impact does that have on any of this?
I don't think much player was. Shadur's an awesome guy, man. He's funny to be around. He's a great time every day in the quarterback room. We have a lot of laughs together, so it's been a lot of fun having him.
Okay, with Joe, you mentioned he's kind of like a coach out there.
Not a coach.
Not a coach.
Not a coach.
Right. But he's been vocal in the past about it's not a job to be a mentor to younger quarterbacks, but it happens naturally, and sometimes he feels like, he gets, we play gotcha with him on that. What do you make of that whole? Why is it such a big deal for a veteran quarterback to see themselves as a mentor to whoever that is?
Yeah, I don't really know how to answer that question. Like I said, it's open dialogue in the quarterback room where he's not a coach, but you have so much respect for his time in the NFL where you're asking questions. He'll ask you questions on what I saw when he was in there. It goes by both ways, vice versa. So, not a coach, but he's an awesome guy to have in the room to really talk through this system that he's been in before, especially, and systems like it. So it's been good.
When you look back at those first couple of years with this hurt, what are the things that stand out and you say, okay, this is what I need to do better, and there's so much more room for me to grow?
Yeah, I think continuing to work in the pocket's been really good for me. Having a chance in Philly to do it, working with the coaches here, continuing to get better there. felt like late in games, I found ways to win games, which was always good to see. But continuing just to grow as a quarterback in the system. You have to be in the system for a couple of years to really grow. I'm hoping I can have that here, where you just build a foundation with something and grow with it. So I'm just taking it day at a time.
Just a couple more.
What do you think he can bring to the table here, and what kind of camaraderie or chemistry do you think?
Yeah, being able to play with Tay for a couple of years in Pittsburgh, now we're teammates again. I think that's awesome. His route running ability, his ability to separate, I think drop his weight in and out of routes. It's special. So I'm excited to get back out there with him.
And when you think about Geno Smith and some of the other guys, who have kind of resurrected their careers, not at the original place when they came in, the draft as a first round pick or whatever. Do you feel different? Like, is there this freeing at all that maybe the expectations shift as a player when you come to Pittsburgh as a big draft investment versus now that might be off the field?
I feel like I'm pretty hard on myself to be as best as I can be. So I try to always not worry about the outside opinion and just hold myself to a really high standard of how I want to play quarterback and how I want to play football. So I don't think my mindset will change. Just excited to have this opportunity. Really grateful to be here. It's been a lot of fun so far.
You mentioned
Last one.
team areas being pretty aggressive.
What'd you say?
It looked like 90 took a good run on you.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. It felt like live football to me. We were going after it, and that's great to get reps full speed like that. You'd rather have the coaches try to pull back on the reins than tell you to get going. So I think it's a good way to be, and how we should be attacking each day.